Yes, it is evening time and that's also dugout time. Thank you so much in case you're joining us. And as always, we'll spend the next 45 odd minutes, even more perhaps, talking cricket. We're building up to the final test match of the series, the fifth and the final test match being played in Dharamsala. Nikhil and I were just chatting about the weather because it's gotten a bit cold here. Delhi, in fact, recorded one of the coldest ever evenings. That was March evening yesterday. So yeah, that's what the temperature up north here is. And looking at where we are going to be playing the final test match, Dharamsala, those pictures, very picturesque, the venue, both teams enjoying, but it's extremely cold as well over there, to say the least. In fact, certain reports suggesting that you could see a bit of a hailstorm as well, some hail, some sleet. Those reports also doing the rounds. Plenty, in fact, as far as the weather is concerned. Ravi Ashwin, by the way, was the Indian representative today in the pre-match press conference. We're still 2 nights away from the test match. India did practice today, so did the English camp, but it was Ravi Chandran Ashwin who came for the presser, and he said that it's surprisingly cold over there. Shane, you went through those quotes. If you could just tell us a bit more as to what he said about the
he's
conditions.
Feeling cold is not going to be surprising. He comes from the south of India.
Yeah, for them winters is 20 degrees.
Yeah.
But no, that's not to say that it's not cold up north. It is still winters. In fact, last weekend there was, or just the weekend that's gone by, the north of India got fresh snow, and that's very rare to get snow in March. You usually get it in February and Jan and December. Even Feb, it's pretty common, but March, very rarely. So you got a fresh spell of snow up in the north in March. So that Ravi Chandran Ashwin is feeling cold, I'm not surprised. But also because if he's coming from the south, anywhere south of Kolkata.
But if you hear from the opposing camp as well, yeah, they're also sort of feeling the cold, given the fact that they've been in much.
They say that.
I've seen Joe Root in beanies, so he's definitely feeling
given
cold.
that they're coming from much warmer places.
Yeah, but English guys would be used to, right?
Of course.
Should be.
England right now will be colder. I'm guessing London would be colder right now than even Dharamsala. I won't be surprised. Dharamsala temperatures will show you in a short while from now, but it's ranging around 18, 19 maximum to 11, 12 as minimum. London would be single digit minimum for sure this time of the year. And north of England would be colder. So I'm guessing those guys will be used to the temperature, but that doesn't mean that they will not be in a beanie or whatever. You're used to cold, but if it's cold, you're going to be clad, right? And that's what they're doing.
But of all the venues that they've gone around England, I think this is the one venue where they'll feel at home. Can't say about the pitch, but the conditions, overhead conditions, everything around, minus the pitch, could make them feel at home.
Is there any English ground though that's located near the hills? So
yeah, but they don't have.
Exactly, it's that smaller nation anyway.
So how is it they're going to do? But in terms of weather-wise, yeah.
Weather-wise, I get it, because overhead conditions, nice and cool, ideally nice, lush green outfields.
Yeah, grounds up Scotland, the Highlands there will have. If you were to have in Inverness or Loch Ness, that high up in the Scottish Highlands, then you could get a ground like that. But they don't have the Himalayas. So
Johnny Bairstow, in fact, has a thing or two to say about the conditions, not the pitch that much. He had a lot of praise for the groundsman. I think there was a bit of a jibe there as well, that he took a wielded jibe of sorts, because he went ahead and said that we're getting a used pitch. It's a used pitch from one of the Ranji games that took place last month. But he went ahead and then said
last month,
but again, you were only a couple of weeks back.
But every pitch in the world is a used pitch.
So it's a used pitch from one of the Ranji games. But the ground staff has done a good job. It still looks good. The outfield. So there was a mention of the outfield, but not about the pitch.
No, the outfield, because that it had to be redone. The outfields ahead of the World Cup, there was a lot of concern. I remember when the ICC team had visited here, Dharamshala was one of the venues that they were very concerned about, especially with regards to the outfield. It wasn't good at all. And then even during the World Cup, there were a few doubts because I remember a few visuals that went viral of players trying to dive and the ground would
Afghanistan,
just
I remember complaining a lot about it.
Yeah, so it still wasn't really great. But I think because they had to relay the entire outfield and relaying that, and to even keep grass, in the hills there, especially when it gets so cold, can't be easy. And now, even though it's not snowing now, but peak season it does snow there. So you're coming out of the winter and still to have an outfield as good as this, I guess that's why he's praising.
Yes.
But he has to praise this ground, right? Technically, it would be his home ground in the IPL.
Yeah.
He's a Punjab
If
Kings
he makes
side.
the 11, that is.
Why won't he make the 11?
Johnny Bairstow and his form.
His form doesn't matter. He was playing most games last year also. He'll definitely be there. He's a marquee player.
But a lot of them would be used to having played a few IPL games there. Would be familiar
many
with
of
the
them.
conditions. We've already seen test matches there. I mean, this is the ground where Kuldeep Yadav made his debut. So that's the other thing.
And a good one at that.
Yeah, but it's also because you're talking about Bairstow, it's going to be a special moment for him. 100 test match. Also special moment for Ravichandran Ashwin going to be playing his 100 test match. I think Bairstow may have debuted after an Ashwin for sure.
In and around the same time, pretty much.
But I'm a bit surprised that they're reaching that landmark around the same time for a few reasons, because Bairstow has not always been a test regular. Ashwin has been, but Ashwin hasn't played a lot of time overseas test matches.
That's the difference.
Bairstow, But the other thing that has helped him, reach again, this is just based on their career, would have allowed Bairstow and Ashwin to reach at the same time, is the fact that in England's case, they play far more many test matches than India on a yearly basis.
Oh, 100%. If you look at pure numbers, then even from the top three, they play more than even Australia. On average, during the WTC when it started, the 2020-21 time, they're playing 15-16 tests in a year. That's a lot of test cricket. So they do play. It says a lot that someone like a Josh Butler at one point would be competing for the wicketkeeper spot, and someone who has been written off now as a test player and said not enough tests, has played 57 tests. 57 tests.
In fact, with England and Australia, again, the only two teams that play more test cricket than India do. You look at the number of caps. Again, there's a bit of history as well because they started playing the game before India did. But England, of course, dishing out the most number of caps as well, about 716 odd, if memory serves me right. About 400.
India is in the
313.
Yeah.
313, I think. Sarfaraz was the last to get.
Would be
Jurel. Sarfaraz was 311, cap 311 maybe. Yeah. So you're looking at India just over there, Australia around 430 odd. So that also tells you a story, because of course they play much more test cricket, they need more players as well, they try out more players as well. India, of course, getting a test cap is difficult.
Yeah, well, they started much earlier as well.
Much earlier.
There was a time where only England, Australia were playing. But all I will say is that Ashwin, just talking about Ashwin, completely deserves that 100 test match. I would have thought that he should have made this place earlier. His debut is 11 or
11, 12.
11, 12. So it's taken him close to 13 odd years to reach 100 test match. Ideally, with his contribution toward the sport, should have reached much earlier. It shouldn't have taken him 13 years to reach this landmark. But I guess that also boils down to the fact that India do not play as many test matches, as I mentioned, compared to Australia, England. And also he's been quite unlucky at times where he's not, because India's played just the one spinner, and it's often been Jadeja primarily for his batting skills, whereas Ashwin's missed out. You can have a debate, Nathan Lyon versus Ravichandran Ashwin, and I think it's a valid debate. But seen in a lesser amount of time, look at the amount of test matches Nathan Lyon's played. So I'm just saying that
and the
had
kind
Ashwin been
and the kind of success that he's had in the subcontinent.
Yeah, but had Ashwin been an Englishman or an Australian, would have played far more many test matches.
Oh, definitely. It says a lot that Ben Stokes, who made his debut, I think, after Ashwin, got to 100 test matches before Ashwin did.
Yeah.
So it tells you just how many test matches in England or in Australia play. A lot of them. And they have a set home summer. With Australia, that there's always going to be those couple of series which are going to be 4 tests, 5 tests. Then they'll have the smaller series. They'll travel. So there's a lot of test matches they play.
And on the other hand, Johnny Bairstow should consider himself very lucky to have been playing his 100 test match.
Yeah.
I'll reverse that logic. Had Ashwin been an Australian or an Englishman, he would have played at this point of his career, having made his debut in 11, would have ended up
150 caps.
probably. Bairstow, if he had been an Indian batter, wouldn't have gotten these many.
Also, given the form that he's been in this whole series,
No, in general,
his
career has
let's
been
say,
like that.
and he is now, let's say, assured of a start as well.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because one, he's gotten a long rope and he's played some good innings. But the thing is, he plays like, he'll have 6-7 non-performances and then
One really good performance.
one good one. Before you're just, and it's been a constant in his career. There's talk around, okay, Bairstow, when are you going to drop him? When it seems to be like that test match, which is the final test match, is going to be dropped 100. Same thing will happen again. Then 7, 8, 9 test matches, nothing. Then again, we must drop him. Again 100. So that's something that he's done. But since we do not have that kind of patient levels in
Indian
India,
cricket.
there's already talk of Patidar not playing. Quite frankly, played 6 innings so far. So there's already talk. And I'm not comparing Bairstow to Patidar also. Of course, I agree that Bairstow got in wicket-keeping skills with him. That allowed him to get that long rope too. But I'd still say he'd consider himself lucky.
Yeah, because if you look at the alternatives that they tried, you had a Ben Fowkes. Again, probably the best gloveman they have. But as a batter, tends to sometimes fall short. There's a good batter there. But again, consistency he tends to not give you. They tried very hard to make Josh Butler a test keeper. Didn't work out very well there either. So, in that sense, sometimes you've gone back to Johnny because he's the default choice.
Yeah. But that's where there's one other aspect to look forward to in this match is the 100 test match for Ravichandran Ashwin and Jadeja.
It's a week of centuries, I guess.
Best.
It's a week of centuries because of course you've got these two, and then I think you've got Saudi and Williamson as well getting to the 100 mark. So yeah, hopefully there's centuries with the Willow as well.
That itself tells you everything. Saudi and Kane Williamson are from the Virat Kohli batch in terms of if you go by age group. They're just getting to 100 tests. How little tests do New Zealand play?
Am I to assume then the fact that Ravichandran Ashwin is going to be playing his 100 test match and he did come for the press conference, that he's 100% starting?
Yeah.
So why I ask that is because, and we will probably debate that going forward, that based on the condition that you get in Dharamsala and the overcast conditions that you might get, or the thinner air, cooler conditions, helps fast bowling. So if you do play 3 fast bowlers and then you have to play 2 spinners, so I'm just saying what happens is, if that is a scenario, I'm not saying that is a scenario and we'll debate that. There could be a scenario where then you say, okay, Jadeja has to play because he's your batter bowler. Outstanding last test match. Anyway, he plays. First one, if you have to play. Then the second spinner question will be, of course, you want to play Ashwin. But Kuldeep made his debut on this ground, was outstanding. Had to win a test match there. And
has been good. He's got form on his side. There's no reason
so
to drop him.
You get into that debate. And so you're celebrating all over, and then there is a situation, the 11 comes out.
And there's no Ashwin. It'll be the ultimate banter. Ultimate.
No. It's not a WTC final that they'll drop him.
They've dropped him from bilaterals also.
Yeah,
England,
but away here, I doubt. Also, if you're snatching this opportunity, given that you're not playing Test cricket again for another 3-4 months now, you play 2 tests against New Zealand.
Sri Lanka, if I'm not mistaken.
Not New Zealand. Whatever. You wait.
You have 2 of those series.
2 of those series. So.
Oh no, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's Bangladesh,
so again,
great series.
Waiting again for another 3-4 months.
So the one big question: are India playing 3 fast bowlers? Before we address that question, let's quickly have the weather forecast that we've got up in Dharamsala. If you can show it to our viewers as well, Pawan. Thank you so much. So this is what it looks like at the moment. Wednesday on to the next Tuesday. So the test match starting on the Thursday. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The test match days.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every test has gone 4 days. Well, counting Monday.
I get that. But even if it does, it goes till Monday. Tuesday is just there. So we've been kind enough to to let any one of you who's going to be traveling there, in case you have flights in and out, we thought you should also know what the condition is going to be like. The first thing that you notice is that there is no rain predicted, which is a great thing. Why I say great? Because as I said, this weekend there was rain all across the northern belt.
Yes.
Especially the mountains, and that included Uttarakhand, Himachal, and all these areas. So there was a lot of rain this weekend. So that's gone, which is a good thing. It did not coincide with the coming weekend. That would have been worse. So that is out of our way. So no rain. That's the one good thing. So at least you get to see cricket, non-stop cricket on the, I was going to say 5, but then Shane reminds me it's only 4-day test matches we're getting on 4 days if it goes to the 4th day. Weather, I remember about 10 odd days ago, the prediction for around these days, your minimum temperature certain days, maybe on the 8th, 9th, 10th was also showing 4 degrees, 5 degrees. It was showing that. That was going to be awfully cold, but guess what? That's improved from then. And now you've got the mid-teens. So, you know, on an average, if I was to look at it, I think 15 seems to be the kind of average.
Yeah.
14 or 15 seems to be the average for minimum, which you're not going to get while the play is on. Yeah. So minimum is ideal very, very early morning, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. or late at night. So that's not something that the players are going to encounter. If you look at the maximum, it's nice from Saturday onwards in the ranges of 20, which is perfect weather, 20, 22 that you can see on Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Before that also not bad, it's at 18 and 19, so not much. I think an average would be about 21 maybe, that seems to be like the average high. And so if you're mostly playing between 19 to 21, that's going to be the rough temperature that you'll have from the morning to the evening of a test match. That will be ideal conditions, so not very cold, not hot either, so perfect conditions for a test match. So anyone who was worried that, you know, players will have a terrible time and the match could start a bit late because of visibility issues and so on and so forth, that's not going to happen. The other thing to notice is that the first day of the test match there are clouds, second, third day it's sunny, but then 4th and 5th day again cloudy, and you know cloudy weather tends to assist fast bowling. So you've seen that, and again, you know, thinner air, cooler air, those temperatures are going to be perfect for fast bowling. One, because it will allow the ball to swing. Secondly, not tiresome for fast bowlers, so they can bowl long spells. All of that put together, I go back to that question. Now that you've seen the weather, are you playing 3 fast bowlers? Are you tempted to play 3 fast bowlers if you're an Indian captain?
By all means.
I would be, but you're again then compromising your batting a tad. You don't have an all-rounder. That is the problem. You don't have a pace bowling all-rounder.
But Jadeja plays.
Jadeja plays. Ashwin maybe plays then because of his batting.
Okay, let's say Jadeja, Ashwin play.
Huh.
And then you play 3 fast bowlers.
Okay, I get that.
So you're batting, if you're looking at the batting
till 8 then.
Yeah, you will have Rohit and Yashasvi.
Yeah.
Then you've got at the moment
Gill
at 3. Then assuming Patidar,
Sarfraz.
whatever, Padikkal, whatever. So that's 4. Then you have a Sarfraz at 5. Jadeja then at 6.
Jadeja, Jurel, yeah. 6.
Jadeja, Jurel, this is your 6,
Jadeja
7,
6,
whichever
Jurel
way.
7. And Ashwin 8. So
I think that's deep enough.
Yeah, so your batting is not compromised. Are you playing 3 fast bowlers?
Then actually I would be tempted. Because again,
so
if you...
Kuldeep.
You're the captain. Are you playing 3 fast bowlers?
And then you let go of Kuldeep. That's something we forgot to
No,
mention.
but that's another debate. We'll get to your spinners. But first,
But it's part of the it's part of the answer.
No, I'll get to. But I first want to know whether he's captain. Is he playing 3 fast?
Yeah, I would be tempted to. I'd go with 3 paces.
So then you are going with Akashdeep, a Siraj, as well as Bumrah.
Yeah.
Because Bumrah is playing for sure.
Yeah,
he's travelled all the way, so he's playing.
No way he's not playing. Yeah, those are your 3 paces. Siraj,
and you're playing them?
Yes, I'm playing them.
I think I would want to take a closer look at the pitch right now, because again, whether
We'll get to the pitch. We've got it
yeah,
started.
exactly. I want to see those images up close, because again, discussing the weather, it's just one aspect before you make the selection.
Fair point, Harshit. There you go. That's the first look at the pitch that you have. That is the Dharamsala pitch that you can see, the closest that we could get. There are a lot of long shot images, so this is also not very close that you can really figure out, but even from there, the color of the pitch, you can make some assumptions. Secondly, you have some reports. What's the goss about the pitch?
The little goss that I could gather, let's say, of course, a little unconfirmed at the moment, but the true nature of the pitch is something that even the curator hasn't been able to comment on at the moment, because he feels there's still another couple of days. The treatment,
That's not surprising.
yeah, but he feels that there will be some sort of a discussion that is still impending, before which he gives the desired treatment, let's say, or the impending.
Why did you mention this at the start of the program? That's
impending
interesting.
treatment.
So you're saying your little birdie is telling you from Dharamsala, who's travelled all the way with a message, that the curator has said that don't go by what the pitch is looking now. We still have 2 days, and he's going to have a few discussions. I can only imagine who those discussions are going to be.
I wonder.
Your guess is as good as mine.
And after that, you will see.
Yes. Again, because see, it is.
So who is the discussion going to be with?
As I said, your guess is as good as mine.
There is no guess, team management.
Obviously,
It's so obvious.
So home team management, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's not like they're going to go ask Ben Stokes, alright chaps, what do you like?
Consolation.
What is it that you would like? What can I offer you? Some Indian hospitality?
I think Ben Stokes would have
Masala
asked
chai.
this. Ben Stokes would have asked the pitch to remain the way it is, because at the moment you don't see a lot of dark spots on the pitch. There are some, let's say, over there, here and there, but not a lot, let's say.
It's like a Fair and Lovely ad. No dark spots.
Yeah, just a little bit, which can, let's say, deteriorate over there, like either ends that I can see. But it'll take some treatment, let's say, for it to really be.
This looks
dry.
like an incomplete pitch. There's nothing I draw from
So
it.
what do you think now that you've said that the curator is still to have?
I'm none the wiser looking at this.
Because Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid didn't have the time. They were on a function. Remember, they went to Bilaspur for a function. So maybe they didn't get enough time to speak to the curator. They were attending a function organized by the sports minister, right?
Yes.
Some inauguration of sort. Yeah. So
What is it? Himachal Abhi? Shane?
What was it?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Just a video that Shane and I were talking about.
No,
earlier.
so now
Oh,
when they
that
have-
one. Yeah.
point is, when they have the discussion, what do you think they'd be saying?
Listen, looking at that, I can draw no conclusions because it looks exactly like what Harshad described it as, like his.
No, my
his
point is,
little
what do you
birdies.
think the discussion will be, and what do you think the pitch will be?
Oh, it'll get darker.
Arshad's telling the curator has said is to have a discussion, and then you can expect the pitch to change a bit more, right?
Oh. That's
Are
a better
these
image.
ones?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's we've
Can
got
you read?
another close up. We've see our producer Pawan's been nice enough, and he's given us another
Just download that and
close
then,
up of the pitch. We'll show you that. It's the latest image to come out of Dharamshala and gives you a much closer image of the pitch. But my question to you, before we even go there, what do you think the team management will tell him, and what do you think the pitch will be like?
I think
Just
you can,
top of your head.
because you've got somebody like a Jasprit Bumrah back and your other pacers have not disappointed, let's say, in his absence. Akash Deep was very promising as well. I think you want to try out Akash Deep another time and not just restrict him to that one match. Maybe you could ask for conditions that suit fast bowling, and maybe then you'll have to really compromise on one spinner.
So then you also saying 3 fast.
Yeah,
Coming back to your
and
answer.
let's say the images that we're getting, whatever little that we've been able to see and get and hear as of now, does look like a pitch that could assist fast bowlers as things stand.
That is very interesting. Pawan has still not given us the image. He's trying to get us, but we'll show you that image too. But so both my esteemed colleagues here have said that they'll go with 3 fast bowlers. If you ask me, I highly doubt it. If I'm Rohit Sharma, I'm still going with my 3 spinners, and I'm a bit surprised that that if that conversation is to happen. Firstly, I don't know how much can you change the pitch from now on. Whatever you had to make the pitch, it's not an overnight thing. Nothing can change. The only thing you can do is shave off the grass. That's
And
the only
not
thing.
water it. You
Yeah,
make it
not
as
water
dry
it.
as
But-
possible.
But I'm saying, even if it is not you anyway would not water it on the eve of the game generally. No, even if it's a fast bowling pitch, not water it. But as I said, just 2 days to go, so those instructions aren't going to make any difference. So whatever the basic nature of the pitch that he has prepared is going to remain the same. I will be very surprised. And have you got this picture on the screen now, Pawan? Okay, this is the latest close-up, much clearer picture that we're getting you of the Dharamshala pitch. And to my naked eye, I don't think this is a fast bowling friendly pitch. To me, it does seem like a drier surface just looking at the color of the soil. Because if it was a nice watered pitch, it would have had a much darker color is what I feel. Because it's light and we showed you the longer, this is just one part of the pitch. But if you go to the previous image, Pawan, if you go to the previous image, where you're just looking at the color, and get back to this image, where you just look at the color of the pitch in the previous image that we had, you'll see that it's effectively much lighter. The entire strip, see that's the entire strip, and you see it's much lighter. If you see certain portions which is around the pitch near the grass, they're much darker. So that's nice
damper.
damp. Yes. So that tells you that would have been a natural color of the pitch had there been watering of the pitch continuously. This tells me that the watering may have stopped a few days ago. It has already started happening. So a drier surface is already, or what I'm saying is like the kind of surface that you're getting, spin friendly pitches, which have been good for batting too, no rank turners. That was the larger mindset in the curator preparing the pitch as a, and that long shot of the color of the pitch tells me that this will also be a spin friendly pitch. Okay, now this is a close thing. The one other thing that I see is, unlike the last time, which was a drier pitch but also had cracks, I don't see too many cracks here. So that's one thing that you'll not have. So much truer pitch, which means batting will also be very good. Early morning, because of the moisture, may help fast bowler, but as the game progresses, this will become a spin friendly pitch going forward. And during the day when the sun is beating down, and once it's had enough of the sun, I think it will help spinners. And I think the basic intent has been to make it a typical Indian pitch. And when I say typical Indian pitch, the conventional Indian pitch we would get, like very good for batting 1 or 2 days and then spinners come into play. I think that's the pitch that is being prepared. What is the conversation? And see, again, the conversation wouldn't have happened now. While they could have another conversation with the curator if there was some sort of, not a diktat, but suggestion by the management as to how the pitch should be, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That message would have reached the curator a good couple of weeks before this test match is to start. And I think basis that he's prepared it, which is why I get to my point. I would be surprised if India play 3 fast bowlers. I'd be really surprised. They would really have to rely on the overhead conditions rather than the pitch conditions to play 3 fast bowlers. While I agree all your 3 options are very good, in these circumstances could get you the desired results. But I'm saying if it's been working for you, you're 3-1 up in the series. What's worked for you? Drier surface, which have been good for batting and have helped spinners to an extent. Not like crazy help, not like batters are sitting ducks, but decent enough help if you're a good spinner. So that would be your way to go forward. And I see this Dharamsala pitch just being like that. Lest we forget, we've had that test match, India-Australia, and guess who was the most successful bowler?
Kuldeep Yadav.
Was a spinner again. So I see no reason why India changes that. Keep 3 spinners, 2 fast bowlers, you're good.
I mean, looking at the way the pitch is playing, again, I'm tempted to agree. I don't think it's going to be a rank turner. It won't be a rank turner, but it'll definitely...
That may be very tough to make in Dharamsala.
It would be, because as it is, you'd be relying on a good chunk of heat, sunlight. You're not getting that much over there. It's mostly cloudy, mostly overcast. So you're not getting that. At best,
You can get it if you follow our friend Shashwat's advice that have a club game.
Let everyone run with spikes. Then only. Otherwise, no.
Anyway, he said it's a used pitch.
Used
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
But a couple of weeks is enough for it to be rejuvenated.
I'm pretty sure it was a case of people missing sarcasm.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. People confused Michael Vaughan's sarcasm also pretty recently. There were issues.
Yes.
So it's most likely that. I think this is no. If you're going by what you're seeing now, it does look like it's going to be a spin-friendly pitch. Not a rank turner, but spin-friendly.
Look at Rohit Sharma is happy, yeah.
He seems
there with his spikes standing in the in the batting area. By the way, he's wearing his spikes, that's for sure.
Yeah, those are proper spikes.
Yeah, those are proper spikes.
And they're not even rubber spikes. No.
They're not rubber, they're spikes.
That's what I was wondering, because he can't be exactly. He can't be wearing The ones which have those
Spikes,
metallic
yeah.
pins.
The rubbers he could
Yeah,
do.
the rubbers.
Yeah.
But
No, I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah, a little bit surprised myself.
Because if you know, they do allow you to go onto the page or observe the page, but usually you'll see them wearing the regular runners or,
Yeah.
or rubber.
training
Or
shoes.
flip flops, whatever.
Yeah, they go.
Not this.
I don't know, unless you're mistaken, but to me, they
No,
yeah, I can see
left foot.
Yes.
You can clearly see the spikes.
Yep. Yeah, those are spikes. How is he there on the pitch?
Plus, even if you look at the right, you can see there's an elevation between the sole and like the floor. So clearly spikes. Very interesting.
Still,
I mean, this is something we're told not to do even in our club games. Yeah? And we wear rubber spikes.
that's
On
right.
some cases, no spikes.
I remember very recently, again, BBL, I think Tom Curran was the one who wasn't allowed to, while he was marking his run up and all, he got a little sanction from the umpire because he was trying to run on the pitch, and of course he wasn't
Nothing
allowed to.
doing.
That was, by the way, when the game was about to start in an hour's time. And
So, two here think 3 fast bowlers. I'm going with 3 spinners, 2 fast bowlers, but we'll find out more tomorrow. The other bit in terms of selection, can we have the squad here? Are you making any more changes to your 11? Especially Patidar is going to be a big debate around him.
I'm giving him another game. I remember saying that the other day as well. And I know that there's lots of thoughts pouring in at the moment, and it's not merited, one would argue, given his recent performances or his last 6 performances with the bat. But the series is already sealed, and I quite frankly feel 3 test matches, no matter how good or bad to the eye, again, because that's subjective. Looking good or bad to the eye is something very subjective. Numbers are much more objective ways, let's say, of looking and judging. But even then, just because he's not been good on the eye, 3 test matches, the series is not on the line anymore, and I don't want to be, because this is somebody at 30 years, and I know this is one format that he's played for the longest time. I want to give him one last shot at it. If I am able to get a result out of him in both the innings or whatever, maybe just one, it's something that I take forward. If not, then maybe I can take a call, because you're looking at fresh series going forward.
I'd go with Devdutt Padikkal.
You're going with Patidar.
Yeah, I'd go with Padikkal, and there's no right or wrong answer here. But for me, Patidar, more often than not, in the last 2 innings that he played, also looked alarmingly short of confidence, which is weird because again, I've seen the guy play. He's actually a very good player, but if your confidence is gone, sometimes you need to step away from the field.
But dropping him now means dropping him for good.
No, not
I don't think he's
necessarily.
coming back again at this age. Again, you give, let's say, because of Sarfaraz, let's say, is anyway ahead of him right now. Once KL Rahul's fit, then you forget. Dropping him right now means dropping him for good. You're
Not
done with
necessarily. There's
Rajat
enough
Pal.
players,
What are
there's
the
plenty.
avenues then of him returning?
I mean, see, there's no guarantee either which way. Let's suppose, say for instance, he gets another chance and doesn't do much with that chance either. Then you're dropping him only 1 test later. As it is, the competition is very stiff.
Yeah.
So, sad reality is that you have to make the most of them when you get it, especially if you're an older player. That's the sad reality. If you're close to 30 or on that side of the age, then you need to be taking or making the most of that opportunity. He hasn't done that, unfortunately, and that's why I think maybe going with a Padikkal, a little bit younger, does give you a left-handed option as well, might not be the worst option in the world.
Okay, before I tell you what I think should be, will I play Patidar or not, given a choice, I'm going to try and second guess what the team is going to do. And I'm looking at various clues as to figure out what the team might be thinking. And I'm getting conflicting messaging. So the first one is that India haven't had too much patience with a lot of players this series. So, for example, KS Bharat, you needed to make a change and you decided no, we need to make the change now, and we need to find a solution to that problem, wicketkeeper batter problem, and you made that change. That tells me that if that was the case with Bharat, I agree that he had played even before that, but I guess they were just looking at it this series and you knew that he had been called back. That told me that, okay, the team wouldn't mind making a change. So that kind of tells me that if they were to play Padikkal, I wouldn't be surprised, keeping that in mind. But then I also look at it from the other point of view. When I look at a KS Bharat, look at Patidar, they had a chance to send him to play the Ranji Trophy match, which was happening, the semi-final. He could have gone in that Madhya Pradesh semi-final game that was happening, and he could have gone back and played the semis. The fact that they have not allowed him to do that and asked him to stay put in Dharamsala tells me. By the way, I know there are a few reports that were doing the round that Rinku Singh is there, so he's going to be drafted into the 11 because he was there. He put a story, but that was basically for a photo shoot. So they've all gone for the T20 World Cup. A few other players alongside Rinku, they were in Dharamsala, and that is basis photo shoot. So there are no surprise.
They can't do that now unless they've already announced the squad.
Yeah, but never with India cricket because it's not ICC, no.
Yeah.
So a lot of times players just land up and they end up playing. But yeah, I'm just saying no surprises there happening. So you still have a choice between a Rajat Patidar and a Devdutt Padikkal. But because they did not send him for that Ranji semi-final, I have a feeling that they've kind of made up their mind that they will give him another chance. So as I said, two very contrasting messages that I've gotten in this series. One is telling me that he'll be dropped, one is telling me that he'll be played. Now to what I think could be or should be, if I was picking the team, I'd give him another chance because I tend to agree with Harshad that at this firstly, see, I picked him because he got 2 fantastic hundreds against the England Lion, and that's why I selected him. He had a great season. So I know that that first innings that he played, his debut inning, was unlucky to get out in the fashion, but the way he got off his mark, hitting that 4, and then from there on, how he played the spinners looked good. But from there on, cut 2. That's why I'm saying even conflicting, messaging in my brain, because thereafter, if I'm just going at how he's looked, that first inning made me look, wow, he's made for this. And then subsequent innings have told me, what is he doing? Because he's gotten out to long hops, to silly deliveries. He's gotten out to good deliveries too, over the 6 dismissals if you see. So he's gotten out, he's been unlucky, he's gotten out to good deliveries, he's gotten out to rubbish deliveries as well. So the entire gambit you've got in just 6 innings. So I don't even know now which one to take as to which is the real Patidar. So that's also very difficult. But so I'm only relying on the fact that you won the series. If you were to drop him now, he may not get a chance. So for someone who's worked so hard to have reached this level, and you're in a position where you can give him another chance, I think you give it. Who knows? Maybe he shows the same form that gave him those 200s, and then he's something you can look forward to. With Padikkal, I think he'll have chances in the future. Anyway, if Patidar doesn't get runs, it'll be tough for him to be picked up in the future. So I guess that decision would be taken by itself. The team management wouldn't have to be taking a harsh call. If he doesn't get runs in the next 2 innings, automatically I think nobody will have an issue. I think Patidar himself will not have an issue if he's dropped. So I guess that will be sorted. So give him a chance. That's what I feel. But let's see what happens on that.
So no Akashdeep then in Dharamsala, huh?
I would imagine. Again, as I said, if you go for overhead conditions, you pick him. That's another thing. But I doubt that's going to.
But again, even if you keep overhead conditions in mind, more often than not, the pitch only gives you that juice maybe the first hour.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're then really gambling, hoping that you win the toss or bowl first, or that England win the toss and bat first. That seems like a bit of a gamble looking at the way that pitch is looking now.
Yep. Let's see what viewers have to say. That's the one part that I look forward to get their opinion as well. Let's start with Sarthak Sachdeva. Off topic. Watson in all-time 11 would have been perfect. Sarthak good.
No. He was pretty terrible at RCB. It tells you speaks volumes that RCB were glad to be rid of that player. And even 2018, he didn't perform throughout the season and performed well in the final.
But his overall numbers aren't bad.
They are terrible, admittedly. Again, if you go back to how well he did for Rajasthan Royals in the early years, he was their MVP.
Yeah, but a lot of you did comment saying that on my social media at least that you didn't pick this and you didn't even consider that. It's not that we did not consider a lot of people. Their names may not have crept up in the discussion, but when each of us were making our 11, obviously we went through a lot of names before finalizing. It's just that typically majority of the names were common. So the debate only centered around those names and certain other names just didn't come up. But of course we considered a lot of other names that...
Plus with Watson, you have to remember in his later years, he pretty much stopped bowling. So are you considering him as an all-time, a pure bat, as an all-rounder? It's a dicey choice. Agreed, great player, no two ways about it. But tough to fit.
Divyang.
Wondering who are the worst players to have played 100 tests? Bairstow, Ishant and Healy. I don't think anyone is bad by any means, only by stats, few players will be worse.
Bit unfair to Ishant, his numbers aren't that bad and he was a workhorse, right?
Yeah.
He's won you series too, and fast bowlers winning you series are not easy. I remember a series in Sri Lanka, he was outstanding, helped you win that series, a closely fought series at that, where, there was a lot of sledging and making of faces, I forget the year. The young Ishant, 2008, Australia.
Ricky Ponting.
Yeah, Ricky Ponting,
Who could
good
forget
trouble.
that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ishant, I think, is one of those players who tends to get sullied by his poor white ball returns.
Correct, yeah.
Like, he was never great at white ball, and
Yeah.
there more often than not he struggled. In tests, a more than decent bowler to have.
Plus, he was a workhorse. Now, in the day and age of workload management, he would still bowl you a lot of overs.
Yeah.
He would bowl you a lot of overs, test match after test match. Played a lot of test matches in the subcontinent in these tough conditions. I think, sometimes he's a bit underrated.
And he was someone, again, as a workhorse, someone who, even if he wasn't getting you wickets, could guarantee you, like, if you have to bowl him 9-10 overs on the trot, 20 odd overs a day, would do it. And this is someone who did struggle a lot with injuries.
Yeah. I mean, the body frame was such, he had to be injured. I mean,
Body frame, he had to make nutritional changes also, all of that.
Yep. Okay, Shivanshu says Akshar instead of Rajat and a pacer instead of Kuldeep. Oh no,
I'm not dropping Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah, but what could be done is if you get Akshar instead of Rajat, is you get a batter there, and then you can.
Maybe he's given the ball if need be.
Yeah, and then you can get.
Well, we've been debating this for 3 tests now. It's not come to pass. I don't think it's coming to pass now.
I mean, his solution I understand, where he's telling you that you can play your 3 spinners as well as 3 pacers. But you know what? Typically in this series, one thing that we realized, you've not even needed the 5th bowler. 4 have been good enough for you to win test matches. So why would you need a backup 6th bowler per se?
Yeah.
I know you're trying to fit in 3 spinners, 3 fast bowlers. They'll be under bowled. Even with 5 bowlers, the 5th bowler has been under bowled typically in these test matches. Whether it's England, whether it's been India. So then might as well play with 4. All of them get enough chance.
Oh, by the way, Jem also adds to that and throws Mark Boucher's name in there.
That's a bit harsh. He's a very
bit
good
harsh.
keeper.
Yeah.
Very, very good keeper.
Yeah, and someone who batted lower down the order.
Yes, but in those days you also got to realize keepers actually played because they were good keepers.
Correct.
This whole concept of wicket keeper batter, where now your batting really has to come good, is another thing. Those days, where Indian keepers, all of them were handy bats, whether it was a Kirmani, a More, or a Nayan Mongia, but they were all fantastic keepers, outstanding keepers. By the way, Nayan Mongia, very underrated. Keeping was brilliant. One of the best wicket keepers. He's also got 100 test match, 100 opening the batting in Delhi. But I'm saying that those are certain situations you send somebody. I was not known to be outstanding batters. They would play cameos here and there. It's all changed with Gilchrist, MS Dhoni, and all these guys who've changed it. Earlier you did it. So I think that's unfair.
Yeah, because Boucher was good in his role for what he was. A wicket keeper who could bat a little bit.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, if you look at the South African batting of that team, you didn't need Mark Boucher to bat. If you needed Mark Boucher to bat, you were in trouble.
Yeah. Sunny Day Mahavar says, people disregarding Ashwin because of Nathan Lyon should remember Ash batting in Sydney, Chennai, Delhi and many more test match. Ash is a package in test plus Nathan Lyon himself credited Ash. Absolutely.
Fair, but I don't think you can say one is better than the other in terms of their off-spin bowling due to their batting. I mean,
Yeah. No, as a contributor, you need to look at Ashwin the batter. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But
he's
when
got more centuries than Jadeja.
He's got 5 centuries, yeah.
Jadeja has 4.
But when you're comparing the 2 off-spinners, then I think it's a very close fight.
Yeah.
Very close battle. And Shane could go with Nathan Lyon and Harshit could go with Ashwin. I don't think there's a
no wrong answer.
Just picking an off spinner, maybe let's say you could give Lyon the edge because again he's got better numbers, let's say, bowling in the subcontinent. But if you're looking at, let's say, making an 11, I'll any day go for an Ashwin because of what he gives me with the bat.
Maybe. See, just to some other different, Nathan Lyon's a more conventional off spinner who mostly, if just to put it, he mostly relies on just spinning the ball, just the conventional spin, and the revs then allow him to the revs then allow him, he will just spin the ball, wait, some will pitch, that bounce will help him.
Yeah.
That's what he will do. Ashwin will do various things.
He's a street smart cricketer.
Yeah, but what Ashwin does is he relies on the seam of the ball as well, where he will look at the the shiny part. He will make use of the shiny part so that the ball lands, instead of the seam, it lands on the lacquer, where the shiny part then skids on and goes quicker. He does that. His use of crease, outstanding. I don't think a bowler uses going so close to the crease, going wide of the crease as Ashwin does. So he's got different ways. Also, I think while Nathan Lyon mostly relying on the turn, the overspin, like really trying to spin, Ashwin's also relying on the length. So one thing Ashwin does is that gets that unplayable length right more often than not. That where you're not sure that you want to dance down the wicket, you're not sure you want to go on your back foot and hit him, or is it a front foot? I mean, that's there's one corridor of uncertainty, but that's also the area of uncertainty that he creates with his length. So that's what makes them two different bowlers, and you can either one. Just that Ashwin in overseas conditions have not always been picked. Nathan Lyon is a eyes closed first choice pick for Australia, no matter what, no matter where they're playing. In fact, Pat Cummins has gone to an extent to say that, listen, when he retires, I want to quit captaincy, because my captaincy becomes so easy with a Nathan Lyon in my team. The day he decides that he wants to retire, I will leave captaincy, because I don't want to do the tough job then, not knowing what to do as captain without having Nathan Lyon. That speaks volumes too. Of
Gary.
Gary. Come on, Gary.
Come on, Gary.
Come on, Gary. He go on from behind the stance.
Alex Gary. So Rakesh
And
Bhushan.
Payne used to do that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my God, yes, Spain. Rakesh Bhushan says KL Rahul's not a natural wicketkeeper. Crouching in ODIs for 15 overs, even he kept in test matches. Getting up and down might also be a reason why his groin/calf, etc. keeps getting torn. As such, we have lost KL the batter.
No,
The latter. Why would you say that? You lost KL the batter?
No, but what he's saying
Because
is
now
because
you're only
Not
looking at him.
availability.
No.
And because you're not looking at him as only a batter, na?
No,
But
that's
this
what-
series you made it clear you would only be looking at him
what
as a
what
batter.
he's saying is that because he's doing keeping, and I think that's a valid point, because of that crouching up and down, he anyways had that past injuries with the groin and thigh, and so that's made him be more injury prone. And what that does is that KL, the batter, is also not available. Available to play for you. So it's a double whammy in that sense, which is a valid point. But that's why India decided not to consider him as a wicketkeeper. I know
Yes.
a lot of people were upset. Oh, this is being partial, and you're only getting him to keep now, and you want to fit him in the team, and you get him to keep there, but not here. But I think those valid reasons not to have him keep here, because I think in foreign conditions you're not crouching that much, because majority of the time you're keeping two fast bowlers, so you're standing back, you could be bending a little and doing, but with a spinner you have to be crouching down and up and down every delivery. That would have certainly ensured that he would have missed the IPL too.
And that's
Definitely.
maybe BCCI knew about it, which is why they went ahead and named, let's say, 3 wicketkeeper batters in the side. And then, of course, they made it clear, then Rahul Dravid later said that
Not
he
three,
will
just
only
two.
be, exactly. So you look at only 2 wicketkeeper bats. Rahul's just a batter, not a wicketkeeper this series.
Yep.
Go up. Karthik K says that Nathan Lyon always had a Stark/Mitch Johnson, that is, create a rough for him as well. That helped his.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
I got confused for a second, saying Stark and Mitch, and I'm like, then I realized
Ashwin should have had Zahir Khan play.
more tests along
Yeah.
with him.
Ashish Nehra, RP Singh.
RP.
Happy.
Pity Natarajan's test career could not last too long.
They're a bit like his, hamstrings or whatever that
Yeah.
two tend to give up on.
Or
a
Jaydev Unadkut's.
two tests.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The ones that didn't get too many chances.
I still remember the gap between Unadkut's first test and second was so this thing that by the time he came to play his second test, 90% of the first test team had retired.
Yeah.
Tells you everything you need to know.
It came after that tweet that he put out, right?
Huh.
The year before.
Dear Red Ball, give me one more
Give
chance.
me one more chance, yeah.
Saurav Mukherjee says, Mazrat ke saath, which to our English speaking audience, with due apologies, Nathan Lyon is few levels up compared to Ashwin. If not for the sandpits, he wouldn't reach half of his landmark. We've seen enough instances to back it. Saurabh, see, I'm not going to argue the fact that sandpits were not given. That's a fact. Can't argue. But the thing is, a bowler's got to perform with whatever he's got, right? And he did. And by the way, you've also got examples where there were no sandpits, like the last test match.
Look at the previous match, for instance, wasn't good, let's say, first innings, second innings, comes back, makes a point.
Absolutely, absolutely. But as I said, Saurabh, in your opinion, Nathan Lyon's ahead of Ashwin. Fair point. What can I do?
Nothing wrong in two very good bowlers.
Yeah. Okay, Rakesh Bhushan says Sidhu left a tour of England midway after certain controversy with Azhar. Still, he is keeping his mouth shut. Nobody knows what triggered him coming back. That time, BCCI didn't take any action. No, Rakesh Bhushan, I will refresh your memory. So that happened in that England tour of 1996, the tour where Saurav Ganguly and Rahul Dravid
made their debut.
And I know this, having worked with Navjot Singh Sidhu for years, having worked with Saurav Ganguly, and so I've heard all different versions. So let me tell you what had happened. Maybe I should do a sport tale on this.
Good idea.
What do you think? Giving you insight. So, so that will be a detailed story of what really happened.
Overview.
Yes, I'll just give an overview. Navjot Singh Sidhu was upset. Yes, the one good thing he's done is actually not really spelt out the reason why he had walked out at that moment, which is, credit to him. And then later, both Sidhu and him have become friends as well. And there was a bit of a misunderstanding. And Navjot Sidhu in those days, you got to remember, as a personality, he was a very quiet, would keep to himself sort of a guy. That was also the tour where, Sidhu was Ganguly's roommate, and he saved Ganguly from almost dying. If you know, there was a brawl in a London underground, and he saved. And Saurav Ganguly, I've had a conversation with him where he said that Navjot Singh Sidhu at that time, in the face of near death, stood up for me as well. The other said that I was ready to get beaten up. I mean, they were outnumbered more guys, and Sidhu still, stood up at that time. They still did get a few blows, the two of them. They were outnumbered. That same tour, Navjot Singh Sidhu felt, hurt, and then wrote a letter, and just full night he just sat on the study table writing and stuff like that. And because those days they would share a room, and Ganguly saw the light open and he's ready. So thought maybe he's doing something, went out to sleep. In the morning also he didn't realize he had gone. Because typically what happens, you wake up but the other guy has already gone for breakfast or is out or whatever. So he thought maybe it's only when they sat in the bus they realized he had gone. And if you were saying, Rakesh, they did not take action, BCCI did take action. He was not to be picked after that. And he did stay out of cricket for very long. There was a man who helped him. His name is MS Gill. You can Google him for those of you who don't know. He was a lawyer. He was later a Congress MP as well in the Rajya Sabha. And then he was also the sports minister of the country. And he is the one who negotiated on behalf of Navjot Singh Sidhu with the BCCI. Negotiated in the sense, brought in the legal language in his communication with the BCCI and said that you can't keep him out. This will be partiality and this will be bias, and if you're going to do it, then I'll take you to court and so on and so forth. And I think BCCI avoided that whole legal fiasco, probably also realizing that they would be on a weak footing to keep someone out because of a decision that he or she may have taken under stress or distress, whatever. So then I think better sense prevailed, and then BCCI did bring him back into the fold. So that's in a nutshell as to what had happened at that time. Last couple of questions. Okay, Vinesh Dawar is saying, just a bit off the topic, but seeing Jadeja field in 4th test at backward point was a sight in itself. That's true, actually.
Exactly.
Very good.
That is true. That should play given the success left-handers have had in this series is Kevin Abraham's comment. Yeah.
Well said.
GGK says, will KL be back as wicketkeeper for T20 World Cup? Or is he there? Or okay, quickly answer. What do you think? He's going to be back?
It depends entirely on how he does in the IPL.
IPL,
I
yeah.
don't think so.
Seems very unlikely. He'd have to have a mind-boggling IPL for that to happen.
Yeah.
The competition very tough. Huh? You already had Jitesh, who's your number one T20.
Sanju.
Sanju was your backup, but he'll also be in contention. Even though you've been unfair to Sanju on occasions and gotten away with it. But even if you're not considering him, Jurel is now a top contender after his test performances. And anyway, in T20, he's been good. He's done well in the IPL. So there'll be a few more. Ishan Kishan, maybe someday, or maybe the IPL will mark that thing where you kiss and make up. Yeah, I mean, minor things. Just I gave you the Sidhu story.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be a moment where you say, okay, it's okay. You're back.
Hota hai.
You're back into the fold. He could be a contender. So the many there are going to be fighting for that position. So let's see. Siddharth says, Harshit, do you think Man City would swap any corresponding player from United? They use bench rather, though United have more on payroll.
The only way City take any United player is if they're like hypnotized and hoodwinked or something. No disrespect to any United player, but the way City have built their squad is next level, and there's not a single player who gets in. It's not even me being harsh.
At the moment, again, you look at the quality of that side, there's only two players I can see who can walk into.
Actually, name two. Please go ahead.
Who can, let's say.
If you say Rashford, no.
I am definitely naming Rashford over there, and there's Bruno Fernandes. There's otherwise I
You'd play Bruno Fernandes ahead of Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Anyone.
And where will Rashford play? I'm sorry.
On the left wing apparently, where Jeremy Doku and Jack Grealish play.
Doku we've only seen very little of
Doku
at the moment.
displays Grealish, my friend. 100 million
That's only down to Grealish's injuries and his other troubles, let's say. But otherwise,
so then Grealish is there now. So then
where does Rashford fit?
I think the only other quality, the only players who can, let's say, they won't. I'm not saying they'll box.
Also, you know why I disagree with Bruno?
Let's say over there. Why?
No,
he's got numbers by the way.
You know who Rashford reminds me of Pesto.
No.
His biggest patch of form came when he was due a big fat contract. Got the contract, form has been gone since.
Good, since we discussed
he's not justified his talent.
Yeah.
That's
7 matches, no runs. You're about to be dropped.
He'll get a century.
Interestingly,
also there was a reason why I disagree with Bruno. Fernandez's biggest problem, numbers I agree, great. What is the one thing Pep Guardiola likes? Control. Someone who'll keep the ball, not play speculative passes. That's what Bruno does all the time.
Again, it comes off.
There are times it doesn't come off, and Guardiola will lose whatever air he has left.
Yeah,
seeing Bruno play.
Looking at his number, looking at his quality as well, he can be innovative, and with innovative players, yes, things will not work out always.
There's one innovative player he fitted into his any 11, only one. You know who he was?
Yes.
Only Leo Messi. And even Leo Messi had to press, by the way, in the early days.
But again, that Barcelona had Xavi and Iniesta as well. That makes things look
pressed.
Yeah, but
and who looked to play simple passes rather than move it.
Okay, guys.
I like Akash's question.
Which is?
If these three apply now as coach, who would you pick? Okay. Gary Kirsten, a Duncan Fletcher, or a John Wright? It's a very obvious answer.
I think, Gary Kirsten, I guess.
I'll go for a John Wright. Built the foundations for what a Gary Kirsten achieved. Also, John Wright currently part of the MI thing, not a coincidence. Great mind.
No, he is.
Yes.
And he was a good coach. I mean, I covered a lot of Indian cricket at that time traveling. So, spent some time with him.
Was he someone who liked interactions and stuff like that?
He would, but not on camera. So, he was quite chatty, but mostly off camera.
Very, very Kiwi-like then.
Yeah. So, he was not always keen to do interview. But if you like, otherwise on the ground,
he was a very chatty guy.
Yeah, he'll talk about what's happening. And he was like a father figure sort of a coach to the players.
Which is, I think, what they needed at that time.
Gary Kirsten was more like a friend. So different in that sense. Fletcher was
a disaster for India. For India, it was an absolute disaster. All you remember are those 2 4-0s.
Yeah.
That's all you remember.
But
of that
was he not
career.
the one around during the Champions Trophy?
Yeah, he was. But again, that
But
was the
there was-
least. That's the Conference League of
That's
Champions.
he was always in the background.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. It was more the captain's team at the time.
MS.
That was actually a team that would work on auto mode.
Yeah.
Not in test though.
Not
Not
in
test.
test.
Okay, on that note, thank you so much, guys, for your company. Have a good Tuesday. See you tomorrow. It promises to be an exciting day. We heard from both the captains ahead of the test match.
Yes.
We'll have a better clarity on the pitch as well as the playing 11. And look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye bye.
Nandri.
Vanakkam. Shabba khair. Shubhratri.
Eat your vegetables.
You know by now. Don't trouble your mom. Bye bye.